Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about Ashes of Creation mages.
Can I be your superhero?
If you love staying up to date with everything Ashes, hit that subscribe button and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Alright, let's get right into it. So, mages are my favorite class in every game, and Ashes of Creation is no exception. The mage class has an incredible arsenal of magical abilities, and it can give you the power to inflict massive single target or area of affected damage. In addition to the offensive power, you also have an incredible utility and survival spells to control the flow of battle in every possible scenario. Alright, so in the offensive spell casting category, we have Arc Lightning, Implosion, Prismatic Beam, Quake, and Spellbook Combo. Arc Lightning attacks in a forward line, dealing damage to enemies caught in its path. Higher ranks of this spell can cause it to do damage over time and jump to other enemies with a chain lightning effect. Implosion launches a fireball at a single enemy and is kind of like the staple of 1v1 combat in a lot of ways. Higher ranks of this ability can grant you a damage over time effect and even hit an area of effect, a fireball explosion hitting multiple enemies. Prismatic Beam is an incredible attack that channels a beam of damage on an enemy that does more damage the longer that the attack is maintained. Higher ranks of this spell can actually cause you to do damage over time after the channel is finished, and it can also cause you to hit enemies that get in between your target and the beam, doing damage to enemies in a line, which is so freaking cool. Now, Quake is the mage class ultimate ability. This monster spell can only be cast once your focus has been raised to 80% and will literally split the earth before you, launching an area of effect attack, dealing damage to all who have the misfortune of being in its path. Higher ranks of this insane ability can knock enemies down, and at its highest rank can reduce the focus and the cooldown of this completely nuts ability. Lastly, we have Spellbook Combo, which targets enemies with magic missiles from your spellbook to strike for multiple blows. This not only deals damage, but powers up your focus, which allows you to use the awesome power of the Quake attack. Almost as awesome as the power of smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Alright, so next in the mage's arsenal is the utility spells. These can manipulate the battlefield, making your friends love you and your enemies hate you. These abilities are the Black Hole, Ice Prison, Ice Sheet, Mage's Detection, Portal, and lastly, Tentacles. Black Hole is one of the most insane abilities of all time. This is primarily overpowered whenever mages are taking part in massive PvP raids, like attacking cities, whatnot. And the reason for this is because the Black Hole ability, I've seen this in many games, and this game is no exception. When you pull all of your enemies into one place, you're able to reposition them on the field of battle. It gives you such a massive advantage because you're manipulating the movement and the positioning of your enemies, and you're clumping them all into one massively vulnerable location, giving your team the ability to utilize area of effect spells to just wipe out massive amounts of enemy forces. It is a destructive, brutal strategy that I have used in every game that it was available, and it has never once not been crazy overpowered. So you definitely want to keep your eye on this ability if you plan on being a part of any kind of group raiding structure. So this spell pulls all enemies into a point after a short delay, and then higher ranks can add a snare effect and even an explosion to make this ability even more dangerous. The Ice Prison is a nasty ability that can target an enemy and summon a prison of ice around them, paralyzing them in place.
Bruh.
At higher ranks, it can do damage over time and can even snare an enemy after the root breaks, making it just a nightmare ability for close-range DPS classes to engage a mage at all. Now, Ice Sheet is an incredible ability that knocks down all of your enemies in an area. At higher levels, it can even snare two opponents and even have an increased area of effect and duration of the spell. Now, Mage's Detection is a fantastic raiding spell that reveals secret passages and magically hidden terrain around you, as well as explosive hazards. This is a brilliant dungeon raiding ability, which is going to be used frequently and is designed to make the mage an even more essential class to every raiding dungeon group. Now, Portal is a fascinating ability that creates a portal underneath the caster's feet, as well as the location of his choosing, allowing his team to travel into the portal, or a certain number of teammates travel into the portal and appear at the other end, and giving your team a massive positional advantage. This can obviously be used very, very effectively in PvP or in dungeon raiding, depending on how you want to position your team. Lastly, we have the Tentacles, a brutal ability that roots all of the enemies around the caster. Oh man. Higher ranks of this ability can add damage over time, increase the range, and even the duration of the ability. And as I said before, in PvP, mobility is everything, and skills like this can dictate the entire course of the battle if used effectively. Now, as you can see, the mage brings a simply insane presence to any team, be it offensive or utility. Man, mages are just completely amazing teammates. And if you would like to have a team that has your back for the rest of your days, come and join our gaming community on Twitch, man. We play together 6 days a week for 14 hours a day, and I hope to see you guys there all day, every day. All right, so that finally brings us to the mage's survival spells. These things can make you just an unkillable god, man. I just love magic. Man, I love magic so much. These spells are After Image, Blink, Force Field, and Safe Space. After Image is an incredible spell that creates duplicate shadows of yourself to confuse the enemy. And if that wasn't enough, it gives you 4 seconds of complete invulnerability. Crazy. Now, at higher ranks, it can grant you increased evasion and even a damage bonus while the buff is active. Now, Blink will teleport you forward in the direction that you are traveling. And at higher ranks, it can actually grant you increased distance and reduced threat to nearby targets, which is amazing for dungeon running. At its highest rank, you can increase the blink distance even further and even add a area damage to the impact point. So even getting an offensive element, which largely is used for chasing down enemies, because generally you're not going to teleport into danger. You're going to chase somebody down, or you're going to be teleporting to safety. This ability can really be a game changer in dungeons or in 1v1 PvP battles alike. It's just really, really nasty. All right, so then we have Force Field. This is a great ability that does exactly what you imagine it does. It uses your mana, granted at a very high consumption, to block damage. Now, this can be an absolute game changer, as sometimes the enemy team will dive on an opposing mage because how much problems a mage can cause with just the CC and the damage and everything. A lot of teams will try to burst out the mages because they're not very strong physically. They don't take damage. But with Force Field, you completely negate that weakness. The ability to burst you out and just delete you off the battlefield is no longer possible, because you have your entire mana pool to burn out to give you that extra survival time, giving your team a chance to make them pay for the foolish decision to dive on what they thought was the weakest weakest player on the enemy team. All right, so lastly, we have Safe Space. This ability is a game changer, again, allowing you to target a party member or yourself, and you can banish that target to a safe place. For the duration of the ability, they are completely undamageable, untargetable. They are banished out of existence. They're completely safe. It's like, yeah, it's a save button, which can give your team a chance to deal with the problems, deal with the threats, kill the things that were endangering you, maybe even give your healer a chance to get off cooldown so that when you're out of your safe place, they have the ability to heal you. And of course, you can do this to anybody. You can do this to your main tank. You can do this to your healer. You can do this to your DPS. You know, you can save anybody on your team. Just save them and buy them that time that it takes to regain control of the situation. Now, if that wasn't crazy enough for you, at higher ranks of this ability, it can actually grant extra mana the banished target. Holy cow. So not only are you hitting a save button, just a go sit in timeout, you are also regenerating the mana of the player in danger. Now imagine you have two mages, and those mages are getting targeted by enemies in PvP. You can regenerate the mage's mana, which is his lifeblood of the class, making so he can just keep on casting. And when he comes out, he can cast. You could actually chain cast on each other, so that one is protected and regenerating mana, while the other one is fighting. And then as soon as the other one is fighting and in danger, your friend comes out of banish, he banishes you, and then he starts fighting. And you can actually bounce off each other. Like the synergy and possibility for team play on abilities like this is just absolutely amazing. At its highest ranks, you can even reduce the cooldown of this ability even further. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. That is everything that you need to know about my favorite class, the all-powerful magic-wielding mage. If you love staying up to date with all the latest Ashes of Creation news, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, yeah!